All right, sir, if you could state your full name and date of birth.
Antonio Mauricio Smith. And
all right, thank you, sir. You are here for a new case out of Superior Court. The charges are 1 count of aggravated assault, impede breathing, that's a Class 4 felony, and 1 count of unlawful imprisonment, a Class 6 felony. Yeah. Those have an offense date of November 17. So today. Based on the financial information submitted to the court, I don't show that you qualify for court-appointed counsel. If you believe that is incorrect and you should qualify, you can address that with me here. You can always bring that up at your next court date as well. You do have the right to retain an attorney to represent you in this matter. So a status conference has been set November 22nd at 8:30 with a preliminary hearing November 26th at 8:30. Those are going to be at the Superior Court in downtown Phoenix. Before I get to release conditions, I know the state is here likely to address those. So, Ms. Stetson, I will turn it over to you. And I know I didn't let you do your appearance yet either.
That's fine, Your Honor. Good evening. Ashley Stetson on behalf of the state. Your Honor, the state would be asking for $75,000 cash bond in this case. Your Honor, Mr. Smith has quite the extensive criminal history. When I did look him up, he had multiple assaults and an aggravated assault convictions as a juvenile. He has since had multiple convictions for drug offenses, for property offenses. He also had a misdemeanor and a felony conviction for intimidating or threatening. He did serve time in prison. He was released from prison, from community supervision in 2023. I do believe I noted that in the state's recommendation. Your Honor, the state would point to his DOC infractions while he was in custody because they're quite lengthy and quite consistent. He has disorderly conduct infractions, fighting infractions, threatening or intimidating infractions, aggravated refusal of an assignment infractions from DOC. Additionally, Your Honor, the allegations in this incident are quite concerning. The allegations are that he locked the victim in his bedroom. The victim was unable to leave. There was a padlock on the door. I believe the Form 4 stated that from the inside of the room, the door was inoperable. Additionally, there's allegation that he attempted to strangle the victim, impairing the victim's ability to breathe, and did strike the victim with a 2-foot metal pole. Given the totality of the circumstances, the defendant's criminal history, his violent criminal history, his inability to comply with rules outside of prison as well as inside of prison, Your Honor, the state believes that $75,000 cash is appropriate.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Smith, I will let you know that I have reviewed your prior criminal history, which you do have. I have also reviewed the probable cause statement provided in this matter, which is also very concerning. I am in agreement with the state that based on my review of both of those, I do believe that you present a danger specifically to the victim in this matter, but likely to others as well, given that you have so many violent priors. So I'm in agreement that a substantial bond is appropriate in this case in order to protect the victim in this matter. I'm also in agreement that it should be a cash bond. So in this matter, you have a $50,000 cash-only appearance bond. If you were to post that and be released, you would be released subject to the supervision of pretrial services and have electronic monitoring added to your release conditions. Your orders include that you are not to return to the scene of the offense, you are not to have any contact with the alleged victim or any complainant or witness, you're not to possess any weapons, which means that you do need to find an alternate residence and provide proof of that to pretrial services. So I'll just warn you that a violation of a no victim contact order and a criminal release order that could constitute aggravated harassment, which is a Class 6 felony. If you come in here on a new felony offense while being on felony release, you would be held non-bondable at that point. Do you have any questions regarding this matter?
I'd like to know why are they using my history in prison out here? And that lock thing, I had that lock for my brother because he's always stealing shit from me.
Your criminal history shows up no matter where they pull it. It doesn't matter whether it's here or
I'd like to know why they're using
else.
it from prison. I got a lot of history in prison, but why are they using it out here for?
Because that is an indicator of what you're going to do going forward.
And I'd like to know one more thing, is that,
No, you're done.
Excuse my language,
You're done.
Excuse me.
Your hearing is over.
It slipped out.
All right, so we've got Adam Jerome,
fuck you then,
who's
you
going
fucking
to be up next.
Fucking stupid ass bitch. I don't hear shit from nobody.
All right, we're going to change the release conditions. Was he taken back for a house call? Because I'm going to be changing his release conditions. He was taken back as a house call? Like, is he going to be an ISO?
He's not going to be an ISO. He'll be an ISO, yes.
Okay,
Your Honor, he'll be
because
an
I'm changing his conditions, I'm changing his bond amount, so I'll put that on record now, but I still need to get that paperwork out too, okay?
Okay.
So, I didn't see what happened just there, but I could hear it very clearly. Did he engage in fighting behavior with
Yes, he did,
one
Your
or
Honor.
more of the detention officers?
He was fighting with the officer.
All right, I have added notes to the release conditions indicating that immediately following his initial appearance, the things that he was yelling back right before engaging in fighting behavior with detention officers here. He has certainly proven why he deserves a significant bond in this case, and as such, I am going to be increasing his bond amount to recognize his obvious danger to others. He has a $100,000 cash-only appearance bond in this matter, with all other terms that I went over being the same. This new release condition or paperwork will be provided to the defendant. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to Adam Jerome. After that, we have Brooke Scalero.
Hello, Your Honor.
All right, sir, your full name and date of birth?
Adam Reed Jerome.
All right, thank you, sir. You are here for a new case out of Superior Court. This is alleging one count of aggravated assault involving an attempt to control an officer's firearm, a Class 3 felony, 2 counts of aggravated assault involving an officer, a Class 5 felony, and 1 count of resisting arrest, that's a Class 6 felony. All of these have an offense date of yesterday, November 16, and the Public Defender's Office has been appointed. A status conference is set November 22nd and a preliminary hearing November 26th, both at 8:30. Those will be held at the Superior Court in downtown Phoenix. I know the state wanted to appear in this matter as well, and Ms. Stetson, I skipped over your appearance again, so if you can go ahead and do that and then provide the information you wanted to with respect to release.
No worries, Your Honor. Good evening. Ashley Stetson on behalf of the state. Your Honor, as indicated in the state's written recommendation, the defendant was engaged in assaultive behavior with individuals on the street prior to law enforcement arriving. Law enforcement did arrive. I believe they were bicycle officers. The defendant, when law enforcement attempted to make contact and stop the defendant, he immediately became aggressive. At one point, he pushed one of the officers in the chest with open hands. A struggle ensued. During that struggle, Your Honor, it is alleged that Mr. Jerome did attempt to grab one of the officer's firearms that was secured in its holster. Your Honor, the officer did feel Mr. Jerome's hand on the firearm, at which point he did notify other officers that were also struggling with Mr. Jerome that the defendant did have his hand on the firearm, they were able to remove it, Your Honor, but that in itself is very concerning. Then additionally, Your Honor, during that assault, Mr. Jerome is alleged to have attempted to strangle one of the officers by putting his hand on one of the officer's neck, and pressing down. I don't recall if the officer said that it impeded his breathing, but afterwards, Your Honor, the officer did complain of pain, and a throbbing pain. In addition to the assault, there was obvious resisting. It should also be noted, Your Honor, that the defendant has I believe, an assault on a minor charge out of Puerto Rico, and he does have I believe it's an escape warrant, Your Honor, out of Washington State. I'm also licensed in Washington State, so I was able to kind of look up and see what was going on there. He looked like he escaped from community supervision, and then the warrant for escape was issued in July of 2022. An escape warrant on community custody, we call it community custody in Washington State, is a Class C felony. A Class C felony in Washington is up to 5 years in prison and I believe $10,000 fine, Your Honor. So that coupled with the charges in Puerto Rico, I believe there's also a warrant there. They're both non-extraditable, and the allegations that the state just informed the court of, the state believes that a high bond is set, not only due to the allegations, which are very concerning, but the defendant's inability to appear for court and also stay in contact with any sort of probation officer is concerning, Your Honor. So state did request a $75,000 secured bond with the conditions outlined in the written recommendation.
All right, Mr. Jerome, I will let you know that I did review your criminal history. I'm aware that you do have, I believe it was 2 different warrants that I saw from outside of Arizona that have already been issued for you. Whether they're extraditable or not does not make a difference as far as my analysis goes here today. I recognize you are a multi-state offender. In other words, you've been convicted or charged with offenses in multiple cases. I was I was concerned with the behavior that was alleged even before your contact with law enforcement, which appeared to be random attacks on individuals, which certainly gives me great pause in whether you should be out in the community because whether they are safe. I have probably even more concern about what was alleged that occurred after law enforcement arrived, and I know that was just described an issue. I will say that I didn't know anything about your state or your Washington State case, so that information provided by the state was something new for me. So in this matter, based on all of that information, and in particular the nature of the offense that you're here for, you do have a bond. This is going to be a secured appearance bond in the amount of $75,000. If you postpone in our release from custody, it is going to be subject to the supervision of pretrial services. I'm sorry, you don't have pretrial services. You are ordered not to have any contact with any alleged victim, complainant, or witness. You're not to possess any weapons while on release. You'll get all of that information provided in your paperwork. Do you have any questions, though, regarding it?
No, Your Honor.
All right, if you want to go ahead and step over, you can go and pick up that paperwork. Thank you.